Okay, we are doing Dmr E number 2. We are rounding to the nearest hundredths place. The first thing that you need to do is type in the key concept, and the key concept comes from your first box. The digit to the right of the place value determines what happens when rounding. 5 or more, round up. 4 or less, stays the same. All right, so make sure that you have that copied on your paper. You've written it somewhere. I'm trying to do it so that we have answers to go back to. This one is telling me to round to the nearest hundredth. So I am going to highlight to remind myself which one that I'm rounding to. You can underline it with your pencil or whatever skill you have at this point. But I need to think about my place values. The 0 is in the ones. The 1 is in the tenths. The 2 is in the hundredths. So I'm going to highlight that as well. Again, use your pencil, whatever you're doing. So I circle it if it's a pencil, whatever. Then I know that I'm going to look at both of them, which is why I underlined it. I'm looking at the 2 in the hundredths place and the 2 in the thousandths place. And then I'm applying this rule. So the right of the 2 is a 2. So therefore, that needs to stay the same. So I need to write it as 0.12 hundredths. So 0, or it's 12 hundredths. The 2 next to it says that that's 2 in the hundredths place, stays the same. You need to stop at the hundredths place. Don't put any extra. Reflection. I first found the hundredths place. And looked to the right and applied the rules. And that's all that there is to that one. All right, now, so making sure you see the answer, but you can push pause. Now we're going to use cross multiplication to solve these. The key concept is the cross products of a proportion are equal. Well, that should, yes, I have a twice. It doesn't like that. So I'm going to cross multiply 1 times x. 1 times x equals 4 times 0.75. 4 times 0.75. Since we have the option to use a calculator, we're going to use the calculator and multiply 4 times 0.75. So 4 times 0.75 equals 3. That's interesting. So 1 times x equals 3. Now, in order to divide, you would divide by 1 because I need to move the 1 over. So divided by 1, divided by 1. And the 1 divided by 1 is 1. I don't need to write it down. So x then equals 3. So realistically, you may not have needed this last step because 1 times x is just x. But to review using those inverse operations, I put that on there. So reflection, I used cross multiplication to eliminate the fractions. Then solved for x using inverse properties. And you do not have to use the one that I have, but you need to have some sort of reflection. That's all there is to it.